In the year 2197, the sun was dying. Its light had grown weak and cold. The ocean had turned into an endless plain of dust, and the sky glowed a dim ember that never warmed the land below. Dr. Grace, an astrophysicist stationed aboard Eclipse Station, stood at the viewing deck of that was once humanity's last hope. The station orbited the ruins of Earth, a pale sphere covered in scars of rust and silence. They had been meant to save the planet. Now all they could do was try to rewind it. People used to say that time was like a river. If that was true, Grace thought, then they were about to swim upstream against a force stronger than light itself. They call it Erebus, the nearest black hole, a monstrous 13 million kilometers wide. To most, it was the end of everything. To them, it was the only way back. The Eclipse Protocol was humanity's final experiment, a desperate mission to bend space and time. Their spacecraft, Kronos 1, carried a gravitational drive capable of slingshotting around a black hole's even horizon, using its immense pull to jump backward through history. The theory came from Einstein himself that gravity could curve space-time and time near a massive object would slow down. Grace's team had extended that idea. If gravity could bend time, perhaps it could look it. If it worked, humanity would get another chance. If it failed, there would be no one left to remember. But Grace soon learned that time didn't just take matter, it took meaning.
Eclipse Station floats 30,000 kilometers above the dying planet. Through the massive glass panels, Grace could see what was left of Earth. Ocean dry to us, forests turned silent, cities buried under dust. The sun, once golden and fiery, now flickered like a dying flame. She had been 12 when the ocean vanished. That was the day her brother Ellen had promised her that they would one day fix it. He never told. He never lived to see what fixing the world truly meant. Now, decades later, she led the project that carried his name, the Eclipse Protocol. It was humanity's final gamble, using the extreme gravity of Erebus to bend space-time and travel backward, far enough to prevent Earth's fall. The calculations were perfect, elegant, and terrifying. Einstein had predicted it. Hawking had doubted it, and Grace and her team were foolish enough to try. Their ship Kronos 1 will fly toward the even horizon of Erebus at 99% the speed of light. At that speed, space itself curved and time stretched like a fabric folded to its limit, a direct result of general relativity, where motion and gravity distort time's flow. For every second they spend near Erebus, hours would pass on Earth. If they could try that curve just right, they could emerge years early before the collapse. That was the plan. The crew was male, 5 scientists and 1 pilot. Commander Robert, the last astronaut trained by the Global Space Agency, Dr. Gavin, engineer and mathematician, to technician and Grace herself. Before lunch, Rabbit looked at Grace through his helmet visor. If this works, Grace, people will remember your name forever. With smile. Only if time remember us. Kronos, one detected from the station, earthing beneath the pale, silent, and dying. The last time Grace ever saw home. As the ship neared Erebus, the black hole came into view, not a hole, but a spirit of perfect darkness surrendered by a hollow of fire. A bright white ring spinning faster than thought and accretion disks, glowing from photon traveled by gravity.
It was the ultimate demonstration of relativity, even light itself could escape. The instruments screamed with data, space trembled, time seemed to stretch. Entering, slingshot Victor, Davin voice crackled through the calm, judging gravitational drive in 3, 2, 1. For a heartbeat, everything stopped. No sound, no motion, and no time. They fell fast to its like ribbons. Stars shimmered across their vision like paint on glass. Then they fell fast to its like ribbons. Stars shimmered across their vision like a paint on glass. Grace felt her body pulled apart in stretches. The sensation of space-time curvature tearing at her atoms. Her heartbeat echoed through eternity. In silence, they have emerged. Behind them, the black hole, ahead Earth, blue, olive, untouched. They had gone back nearly 10 years. Commander Robert let out loud that sounded almost like a song. We did it. We actually did it. And for the first time in decades, Grace has something she thought she'd lost forever hope.
At first, everything seemed perfect. Earth was alive again. Oceans seemed like mirrors. Clouds floated softly, and the air no longer burned with radiation. Grace and her crew landed near what used to be ruins of the Pacific Research Dome. Only now it stood tall and new, untouched by time. Their instrument confirmed it April 4, 2187, 10 years before the end. They had done it. They had really traveled back. But time, it seemed, was something in return. He first to notice was Dr. Davin. He sat quietly in the control room, staring at the photo on the console, a picture of his wife and daughter. I don't remember their name, he whispered. At first, everyone thought it was just side effects from the jump confusion, exhaustion, and temporal shock. But when Grace checked the onboard database, something was wrong. Every record, crew files, family archive, even the global database had missing data. Face without names, voice without identity. It wasn't just David, it was all of them. Each gravitational jump had a cost. A piece of their memory disappeared, erased by the very act of crossing time. Grace worked tirelessly through the night, analyzing the ship's black box. She discovered that every time the gravitational drive active near Erebus, it released a wave of Hawking radiation. According to theory, leaks from black holes due to quantum effect. But this wasn't ordinary. The radiation had been amplified, interfering with human neural patterns, literally unraveling the information stored in their brains. In simple terms, every time they bent space-time, their minds paid part of the price. The black hole was feeding on their memories.
Robert did not want to escape it. We did not come here to mourn the past. We come to fix the world. But Grace could see in his eyes he no longer remembered his sister, the one he used to talk about every night before lunch. Then the ship's AI, Echo, began to change. Its voice stuttered, breaking between words. The temporal alignment error, even correction in progress. That word correction filled Grace with dread. When she checked the mission logs, she found something impossible. Each time they jumped, not only were their memories fading, but the timeline itself was rewriting them. By the third jump, the mission's name had changed. It was no longer Eclipse Protocol. It now read Erebus Contingency. None of them remember ever choosing the name. That night, Grace dreaming of a lie. He stood under a bright blue sky, smiling gently. "You can save time, Grace," he said. "You can only borrow it." When she woke, she could no longer remember his face. 2 days later, Devin disappeared. His suite was gone. His data files were gone. Even his name had been deleted from the records as if he had never existed. Time was no longer a river. It was an ocean, and they were drowning in it. In the great scientific context, through its events, Eclipse Protocol embodies Einstein's general theory of relativity, where massive gravity fields were time in space and extends it into speculative territory involving quantum information loss and paradox of causality. Grace and her crew don't just face the physics of time, they face its moral and existential costs.